got a lot of dust from the playground on me, so maybe if I get cleaned up a little, Mom won't notice I'm late for dinner.
Whoa, Pete, what on earth are you doing?
Oh, hi, Petunia. I was just going to take a quick dip to wash off the playground dust.
Oh, Pete, that is not a bathtub. That is a baptismal font.
Baptist elephant? Like an elephant that went to blessing of the animals?
No! Baptismal font. You know, like you see in the front of the church.
Get out of town. There's a bathtub at the front of the church? That sounds like it could get embarrassing, if you know what I mean. Seems like they might put it in its own room so it could be a private affair.
No, Pete. I'll say it again. It is not a bathtub. It has a different purpose in the church, and it is part of a celebration that the whole church participates in.
Now, you might think I was born yesterday, but I do know that there is not enough room in that bowl for our whole church to fit in without elbowing the stew out of each other.
Well, the whole church doesn't get in the bowl each week, but it does celebrate with the person being baptized.
Oh, Petunia, it appears you might need a little help here. Pete, it is true that back in Jesus' time, people would take a special bath in a special bathtub-like thing called a mikvah.
See, Petunia?
But that bath was less about getting dirt off and more about getting their hearts ready to be close to God.
See, Pete?
There is a story in our Bible about how Jesus entered the waters and changed this practice for Christians. You see, before Jesus got busy teaching people and healing people and showing them the way to God's heart, Jesus went to be baptized in the Jordan River. There was a wild man that was baptizing people in the river named John the Baptist, for obvious reasons, and Jesus was his cousin. Jesus stepped into the water, and John lowered him into the river, and when Jesus came up, BAM!
Whoa!
The skies opened, and the voice of God was heard saying, "This is my son that I love, and I'm so very proud of him."
Like a voice came from the clouds? Cool.
Oh, yes, and it wasn't just the voice of God that made that moment something to remember. God's Spirit came down from heaven like a dove to show that God was in that moment.
Wait. Is that dove the same dove we see on the baptismal font in the sanctuary?
Oh, why, yes, Petunia, good observation.
And does that dove remind us that God's Spirit is a part of every baptism that happens?
Oh, Pete, you've got it. You see, when we are baptized, we celebrate that God loves us first and forever.
Well, Miss Boa, that's a long time.
The longest. And so, when we're baptized, we celebrate that God's love changes us into a new creation, a new person. Pete, you would still be Pete, and Petunia, you would still be Petunia. But God opens up new possibilities for how you might share God's love with the whole world. And what's amazing, and why it's important that the whole church be present for a baptism, is that the church makes a promise to the person who is baptized. They say, we are going to live as a church family and live like God calls us to be, so that our words and the things we do can help teach that person being baptized all about God's story.
So, baptism is like a party to celebrate God's love for that person, and then the church gets to be a part of the party by promising to share God's love with that person too?
Petunia, you connected all the dots. I'm glad you kept me from bathing in this special font. But what I really need now is some help getting my mom not to be mad that I'm late for supper.
We'll what's for dinner. Maybe we'll